Good afternoon, everybody. I do not know what to call this session, pre-lunch, post-lunch. Anyway, I'll take the opportunity to say hello to all the audience and to thank them for giving me the post-lunch slot.
10 minutes.
Because then the onerous task of keeping you all awake falls on me, and I will request you all to cooperate
10 minutes
for 10 minutes and have no phone calls, no distraction while we talk on this very important subject.
True.
And why is this subject important? If we look at it, 50% of the population is female. Yes?
Yes.
50% of that fall under the age group of 16 to 40.
Yes.
Out of that, almost 100% have some menstrual disorder problem, and 50% of that is PCOD. So that makes our case very strong. That is how we chose this subject. Hello.
Okay, points to know.
ठीक. Okay, so whether we call it PCOD, polycystic ovarian disease, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, it means the same thing. What we did was we decided to do this study, and we gave ourselves 4 months, and we said we will show that homeopathy works. How did we go about it? We wanted to study the effectiveness of homeopathy on PCOD. And first we took a population under this age group. Then we give them a questionnaire which we had already prepared, and we analyzed their biochemical parameters, and then we studied the effectiveness of homeopathy in this. The inclusion criteria were women diagnosed with PCOD belonging to the age group of 18 to 40, and women seeking homeopathic treatment. Exclusion criteria were women either who were pregnant or who did not want to be included or who didn't follow our parameters. So we had women under homeopathic treatment for PCOS. We administered the questionnaire. We told them that they must do the readings, FSH, LH, prolactin, blood sugar fasting, TSH, T3, T4, and CBC. These are the basic things, and a sonography. Then we told them that we will give you treatment for 4 months, and you have to repeat all the tests in 4 months. We've been doing that. Actually, we've been continuing the study which we started in 2010 middle June, and we're still continuing, though we already presented a conclusion. 4 months later, you have to repeat the test. We have to see the improvement in the biochemical parameters and then check out the effectiveness of homeopathy. So now we'll take the PowerPoint on this. The definition was given in 1935 by Steen and Leventhal, where they said association of amenorrhea with polycystic ovaries, and variably you may have hirsutism and or obesity. In 1990, the American Committee of Obstetrics and Gynecologists and the National Institute of Health, they called it hyperandrogenism and chronic anovulation excluding other causes. This is your normal ovary. Below that is the polycystic ovary. So it has three criteria: obesity, T2 type of diabetes mellitus, and anovulatory infertility, which we found often get associated with PCOD, and therefore in our initial investigations we asked them to do the test even for that. So now we have concluded in the beginning only that 8 to 10% of women of reproductive age come under this group. And the male close relatives, you'll say, how do they get PCOD? No, if they are hyperandrogenism, then it tells us that the woman is likely to be PCOD. The prevalence in the population, 33% of women of our population have obesity. 8% of women have type 2 diabetes, irrespective of having PCOD. And 27% infertility. So we get the lowest common denominator of all three have to be there, it will be 8. And we saw that 8 to 10% of our population has PCOD. What are the signs and symptoms? Symptoms are irregular menstruation, means they'll come and tell you that we have no idea when we will get our periods. It is not once in 2 months, once in 3 months, once in 6 months, whatever. Then you have hirsutism. They also complain of acne, obesity, and infertility. What are the signs? Some of these are also signs, like hirsutism and acne. Obesity we can see. Acanthosis, which is black ring around the neck. These patients may not complain to us when they come to us, and we may see it in the signs. And there is definitely a male fat distribution. We all say that 24, 36 is the ideal woman figure. If it falls to 32, 28 and 32, we will say this is not an ideal figure. This is more prone to PCOD, where you will have broader shoulders and narrower hips. Breast development is also out of proportion. We took this sample size. Finally, we took about 25 women. Some of them dropped out. Some of them did not do the investigation. So there were 15 females who we followed up. Average age was 25.8 because the youngest was 16 and the oldest was 37. All undergo the test we discussed earlier, and we took the whole case. I'm going to show you the results at the end. Before that, I will take up one case. You know, today is like a marathon speaker asking to be running the 100-meter race, so we have to do it very fast. Will I reach the coaching class on time? This is the title of the case. She was a 17-year-old female. Her grandfather, paternal, had BP. Maternal grandfather had died of MI. So which miasm? Which miasm? Syphilitic. So there was a predisposition, we had a syphilitic miasm. The father, who was 46, had a hypertension. I'm just telling you also about the father that he stayed in Allahabad. The patient came from Bhopal and the father stayed in Allahabad, so he was like a weekend father. The mother, who was a professor in zoology, she is 42 and lived in Bhopal with the children. She had varicose veins. Brother, who was 12, and also my first patient actually, he had acute lymphoblastic leukemia. He was being treated in Tata Hospital along with homeopathy all throughout, and the parents spent more time being in Mumbai those initial years than in Bhopal. Okay, which is the miasm here before we move to the life story? We have ALL, we have varicose veins. So that is the tubercular miasm. Okay, so we know that we can call it because PCOD we know is a psychomiasm mainly, but here you had a psychotubercular with a little syphilitic. And she also had hirsutism, testosterone was high, her BP was anytime, NP was anytime, and if she took no pills, she never got a period. From March 09 to July 09, she got nothing. When she took Dualiton in 2005, 3 times she got her period. So every time it was on the pill, okay? If we evaluate her, just let's see how she is evolved. Okay, now we are going to the mind. So here you had 0304, the father and mother, father, everybody was staying in Mumbai, and she was with her grandparents. So what are the three things which can happen to a girl at this age when she was today 16, 17, that time she was 14? What does she feel? This is what we have to think. So either she felt neglected, or she felt early onerous responsibility, you have to do everything on your own, you didn't have your mother, you have to study on your own, or she had jealousy. Let's see how she is and rule out these one by one. Very, very attached child. She loved her parents, everybody a lot. Brother, mother, father, friend, shares, is vocal and very caring. So that rules out which of these three? Okay, rules out jealousy. Very good. Now the other two. Neglected also it rules out, because if she is so caring, she knows that the parents are there for a particular purpose and they have not just gone away to let her be alone. So that takes away neglected. So what are we left with? Very early responsibility. She is very bright in studies, but this burden of proving that yes, you left me alone, but I will still continue to be responsible and study well and do well. So it was too much of a burden for her at age 14. Led to anticipatory anxiety, which means every time, everything she did, she would be worried whether I'll do it on time or not. And it also bred a lot of fears, which again fed the anticipatory anxiety. I've done this structure one by one so that you all don't say that it's confusing to see a structure. This is our way of showing that we put everything that we know about the patient, including her evolution and her complaints, all on one page. She was to boot very fastidious. So that again fed her fears. She had fears of height, plain, dark, alone, water, and will I reach in time. Coaching class was 7 o'clock in the morning, so that was always the maximum fear. She is weepy and broods if she is late. She doesn't reach on time, and then that aggravates. She doesn't get sleep, and it is prevented by thoughts.
Dr. Vishapalla, 2 more minutes to go.
Huh?
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes? No, sir. 4 more minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Dreams plus fearful. Anxiety. Okay. The other complaint was headache with vertex pain and all the various modalities. She was also irritable, a little revengeful, worse contradiction and better consolation. That worsened her. Which kingdom she belongs to? Quickly. She's sensitive, caring and fearful, very fastidious, wants to plan. Which kingdom? Overall, she belongs to the mineral kingdom. Okay. The physical complaints we had, chilly, craving, sour, all that we'll take in the repertorial totality, and she also had throat trouble. Repertorial was brooding, anxiety, fears, all the fears, irritable, timid, fastidious, affectionate, excessive talking and irregular menses. The rubric, the remedies which came up from this repertorial filter was calcarea maximum 22 by 11, calcarea carb, arsenic, natrum, etc. Phosphorus 21 by 8, hyoscyamus. Which is the remedy you are thinking of? Phosphorus. For me it was a very clear calcarea first case. The affectionate, the no holds barred, giving up the parents for the brother's illness. Though she grew rapidly and be responsible, must do well, which was stress and the fears surfaced. So this was the case. We've decided pulsatilla as the acute, constitutional calcarea carb, calcarea phos, and medorrhinum as the intercurrent, psychotic miasm and anticipatory anxiety. Okay, so give me 2-3 minutes please.
Please.
Pulsatilla was given. She had not had her periods for 3-4 months, so Pulsatilla was given as her to bring on the periods, PDS. She got her periods in 4 days. 11/8 she came back to me. The periods had already come for only 2 days, 2 pads a day. Flow was good. But it continued spotting for 11 days. We gave her, this is what I do in the first 2 weeks before ovulation. I give antipsychotic and the constitution. So Medorinum 1 and second week Calcarea first was given. I'm giving you a little detailed follow-up so that you know. It's not just saying, okay, I gave this medicine, patient improved. Appetite better, irregular menses, that is, it was better. 2 months she got it on time. Throat was 0. I want to tell you this also. My parameters, I don't just say better. I say L0, I take a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 means no complaints, 10 means maximum. So every criteria is noted very carefully. So if you see L0, backache, L5 means what? At 50% level. Headache is 0, weakness is 0, menses came on time in 30 days, nothing was required. Placebo was given. 14/9, she said that hair fall was better. Headache was on the 12th and 13th. So I felt she needed repetition. I gave her Medorinum and Calcarea first, same day, week 1, week 2. Then she got her LMP 26/9. It was a little early, 26 days, but it didn't strike any bell to me. I'm just showing you how we make mistakes. She had lot of headache. Acute was Pulsatilla. Pulsatilla was given. Now 16/10 she come back and said she had a headache 3 times. So I thought that you needed repetition, but periods have come what? In 11/10, that is in 16 days. It didn't strike a bell. I gave Pulsatilla for headache and SL. Headache better, hair fall better. Menses is twice a month. It came in 16 days, she is very worried. I gave Calcarea first, 3rd dose. Now 13/11, no, and after that placebo, so the periods have come exactly 31 days. I realized I had given too much Pulsatilla. After that I have used no Pulsatilla for this child till date. Placebo. 5/12 headache 0 per week, hair fall is L4, growth on the face. So now everything is regularized but the hirsutism which takes the longest. Medorinum 4th dose, Calcarea first. 4/1, everything is better. Mens is better, irregular, PCOD is better, throat pain is better, headache is better, headache in spots is also better, everything is better. We are now taking away Medorinum, we are only giving Calcarea first. Headache twice in 2 weeks, next time, so we get nothing. 12/2, no menses, 20 days, that means it's no longer any early, nobody has to worry, placebo. It came after 29 days, headache once a week, so I repeated Calcarea first and Medorinum. Now I felt what we got was that, I felt Medorinum was not doing, only use Calcarea first, I've said. Okay, by this time, everything is coming almost on time. But at this point, I decided to switch to Thuja. Her hirsutism was not going, Medorinum was not helping, it was in fact disturbing the period. I moved to Thuja with Calcarea first continuing, like the same way, once a month. Okay, the last follow-up, she did very well till she went to engineering college. She's in boarding, hemoglobin has gone down, she doesn't eat well, so there is a little irregularity. Patient has done remarkably well at both level of mind and body. Constitutional remedy aided by myasthenic settled her completely. No earlier treatment had such impact. Quote, what water can do, gasoline cannot, what copper can do, gold cannot, what homeopathy can do, allopathy cannot. Okay, I have to take 1 more minute because I have to just show you the Excel sheet. Here we charted everything here on the scale, including the patient's whatever complaints they had and the parameters. Here I'm only, now we don't have time, so I'm only showing you parameters. All patients, if you see FSH, LH, what is the ratio? Over 1 to 2 is PCOD diagnostic. Everybody's has gone down. We had a patient 10/2, she is 6/7. 6 and 7. So it's almost become 1/1. This patient also was 8/4, which is 1 into 2. She's become 3 and 4. And we had one patient who had every parameter, including all the male androgens were also cockeyed. She is a homeopath studying. Her father is a homeopath, her grandfather is a homeopath. They said we can't do anything. You're sure we can do? Yes, we can do. and her parameters are all becoming normal. All the patients are still under treatment, but in 4 months we could conclude that homeopathy works for every case. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr.